I couldn't have hoped for a better gathering than this. I think all 7 of you, thank you very much for being here. It's really India's time. Just to give you some statistics, many of you are probably aware of. Swiss watch exports declare their reports every month by volume, by value, by parts, by finished watches. So if you take the main figures, which is the revenue growth of Swiss watch exports over the last 2 years, that is pretty much the post-pandemic, India is by far the fastest growing market. If you take the figures, it's about 46% over last 2 years and about 25.3% last year. Where the market has actually degrown by 2.8% by value and close to 10% by volume. Products are getting pricier. The mix of more expensive products is increasing in the mix, but there is an existential problem luxury watch industry worldwide is facing. Any thoughts? So that's maybe we can start with Supal.
I think so. Luxury is predefined now. Previously, the affordable luxury was between 500 to 1000. Now it is 1000 to 2000. And what I feel is that there is enough room in this category where people want something which is an investment, a great investment, but they wanted something which is long lasting.
So I feel that the women in India are now finally starting to wear watches. They are more aware. Women are now working, so they have the spending power. So women are definitely going to be buying more watches, and hopefully we'll see the growth in this segment also.
That's an interesting point which comes from a woman customer base.
What I feel is every Indian is kind of aspiring to go one notch above. And that definitely comes from the fact that people are more aware about a lot of new things. They're more aware about the brands. They're aware about what they want. They know that they can make a lot of choices. So political stability is definitely one thing that fuels everything and automatically the demand.
So you're saying basically everybody is trying to even premiumize their lives, I guess, to some extent. Sam, would you like to add something to this?
I think India is growing exponentially because the newer generation is more directed towards luxury or premium things. They feel confident not by wearing like a jewelry or diamond. They feel confident if they have a nice watch in their hand. They feel it boosts their morale.
I highly agree to this because being a part of that generation, I feel nowadays value of the product is more towards like the brand holds the more value. Like you wear a higher end brand and that will give you more vibe of a luxury thing.
We are also seeing a lot of collaborations, a lot of interest in the Indian market as far as the international brands are concerned. We have seen of late the CEO of Kanali celebrating 100 years of Kanali in India. Like Bulgari launched a Kada and a Mangal Sutra, which is very, very India-centric products. So it's not only the market is big, obviously the international brands are looking now at India to collaborate with. And why it is important, because we will also at the end of this conversation go towards something which is very India-centric in terms of a product offering. So any thoughts on that?
So Mitrajit, I think the past 2-3 years have been pretty transformative for India. I'm going to speak specifically in the watches sphere because that's where I think I've really gotten my fingers into. I think just the fact that last year there were CEOs of 3 to 4 international brands who made a visit to India, took the time to connect to the people here, had roundtable conferences, discussed their offerings, itself is a very huge indicator of how the market is being taken. I think another thing that is fairly interesting is that all brands, international brands, have always complained about the fact that there is no retail space. But what is happening is with the Mall of Asia opening in Bangalore, more and more, there are lots of brands that have opened their flagship stores there. They found the space to exist, right? And that again, the fact that from maybe 1 or 2 in the country to growing up to 3 to 4 flagship boutiques, main boutiques, watch boutiques in the country, again, is they're willing to invest that sort of time, energy and resources in the country because they see the potential. And really, let's not forget that till even about say 7 or 8 years ago, you wouldn't have seen the kind of independent and micro brands existing in the country like they do today. The number of independent brands that are there are also indicative of the interest in those brands. The very fact that they are here is because there's a market for them here. And they're choosing to choose India and come here and have their watches stocked at retailers here, which again I think goes to show how the market is burgeoning and is interested in time.
I take a step back, and it's not just brands. Because of the Indian market, everyone wants to have a share in the Indian growing ecosystem, and brands have realized that. And it's important that they come to India. They come to India and they bring something which can really appeal to the Indian masses. And India-centric product or India-centric collection is one way to get into the Indian ecosystem, get accepted in the Indian market. And it's not just collection available everywhere else coming to India, but brands working really hard to do something for the Indian market because they also want to stand out. It's across categories, across brands, across industries, and it's happening.
We all, I think, are privy to how important the Chinese calendar editions are and how much brands invest in it because it's so crucial to the Chinese market. When the inauguration of the Ram Mandir happened in Ayodhya, there were brands who created limited special edition watches very under the radar. They did not talk about it. It was not announced, but they created those collections, and those watches sold out immediately and very, very quickly because I think they realized the emotional connect of that occasion that had taken place, and they made limited edition watches immediately.
Okay, so now we move on to what we are here for, the brand Victorinox. Victorinox is, as we all know, is about 140 years old, and makers of the famed Swiss Army knife. From there now into luggage, we have got into watches, we have got into kitchen knives, but if you look at it, I think the roots of the brand are still the ability to make beautiful products. Because of that, we often see very high warranty which comes with Victorinox watches. So I think in this segment we would like to know about your perception of brand Victorinox. I can start with you, Pritika, because I think last year you had been to their watch manufacturing unit at Delectable. So what did you see there?
I think first of all, I'll just begin by saying it's a beautiful facility, and it was really a no-holds-barred experience where I was taken around to see every aspect of how a Victorinox watch is crafted. I think there were 2 things that really stood out for me. One is that having the expertise in steel, the brand is one of the few out there who actually make their own cases, their own bezels, their own middle cases, their case backs, which is an incredible thing, I feel. Like, manufacturing of components in-house is truly in-house. The other thing that I think stood out for me was the fact that the brand goes through an incredibly massive battery of tests. When you talk about value for money, when you talk about resilience and what literally brand Victorinox stands for, I think each watch is subjected to at least 80 tests, be it waterproofness, whether it be air pressure, whether it be just any sort of resilience that you can go through. I remember seeing one in which a 6 kg hammer is swung at the watch to check whether it would still work. And this number of tests is actually a lot more for watches that have specific functionalities. We're talking about a very basic watch here that goes through 80 tests. That's really incredible for a manufacturer to be able to do that. And not to mention that over the past, I think, 3 years or more slightly, the brand has been going through an overhaul in terms of design, and they're bringing their entire design language together in a way that people are able to look at a Victorinox watch and say, this is a Victorinox watch. The design language is getting more cohesive.
I will just add a bit to it because while Pritika was at Delectable, I also went to IBA, which is your Victorinox headquarters. and I was fortunate to have spent some time with Mr. Elsner. He was telling me with a lot of humility and pride at the same time that they have never asked an employee to go because of economic reasons. Now, a product. We are here today to discuss a specific line which is I.N.O.X. As we all know, who are involved with the watch business, that I.N.O.X. is a very specific line of watches from Victorinox. I.N.O.X. stands for me, it's very geometric. If you see the carved work of the steel is anti-magnetic, which is a very, very strong quality which you need for a good precision timekeeping. It's what Pritika was talking about in terms of the hammer, is shock proof. It is 200 meters water resistant, in terms of depth, and it comes with 5 years of warranty. Just imagine the amount they pack in a watch which is priced very, very reasonably, but you are getting probably the best money can buy at that price. I would like to know from Supal if you want to add to what the product stands for, because you know the customers who are coming and buying.
When we have started the collection I.N.O.X., the customer now a fan of the brand and the product, because the design language which the brand have given, the kind of shape, the kind of the artistic way, the curvature which has been given in the round shape, it is very rare to see the facets which usually you will see on the bezel, and which makes a brand very different kind of styling. I think so. It's also very important that the kind of robustness which I have seen in the collection.
I would also like to add something very interesting about the I.N.O.X. collection is the personalization part. As you can see on this table, there's so many options of straps. I mean, they have materials like paracord, they have materials like wood, they have material like rubber, leather. This is customization, this is personalization. So I think the brand is very practical. Coming back to Victorinox as a brand and I.N.O.X. as a product, Ratan, would you like to add something?
For me, this is not just a brand, it's actually a legacy. And it's a happy realization that the consumers have when they visit the stores and they realize that this is not just a watch but insane amount of benefits that this can give you. And when I came into the watch industry, so to say, I still remember the call out that they had. You can just take the tank over the watch but nothing will happen to the watch. I mean, that one statement is forever with me, and not just with me, all the consumers that have had this I.N.O.X. collection. I mean, if you're wearing that watch and if someone is sitting beside you, you can talk about the watch for at least 10 minutes bare minimum. So that is one thing that the consumers love about this collection. Even before I talk about I.N.O.X. as a collection, the 5-year warranty that they give, forget 5 years, they can actually give 50 years, nothing will happen to the watch. The fact that the watch goes more than 130 tests. She's talking about 80 tests for a basic watch. These watches go for more than 130 tests. And it's not just me who's speaking, it's a collective voice of hundreds of consumers and thousands of consumers that I've interacted with.
Panda, you want to add something about the I.N.O.X.?
I have been a customer of Victorinox, so I feel that the main part is that being a customer, like from their perspective, the personalization is very important. It helps you connect with your customer. I can choose what type of and for what occasion I want it. Like also switch it from occasion to occasion, like the bands and everything.
So I as a person, I'm very clumsy. So I love the durability of the watch. And I love the fact that it's water resistance, because there's a huge benefit for someone like me. I am a huge scuba diver, I love surfing. So water resistance is something that attracts me quite a lot.
It's interesting because that's a specific functionality or a feature you're talking about, and it's so good for a maker to actually do this when people are using it, even if it's not 200 meters, but it's at least being used. China, you want to add something?
I strongly believe that, watches, I don't like them to be scratched or dented at all. If I'm wearing my watch and I see a new scratch, a new dent, I'm very upset about it for days. And knowing about the durability of the watch, I don't need to worry about the dents. I'm sure it won't happen like in a click.
So Debraj, you have been at the helm of brand Victorinox, the company, for many years now. So what is your feeling in terms of running Victorinox as a brand and I.N.O.X as a product in particular?
Victorinox as a brand, being a family brand, it's got a lot of legacy in it, plus there are a lot of values as this brand believes in. And those values actually make us working in this company a privilege, because we also live up to these values, and they are values that really make us very proud. Because if you really see the values of offering a product to a consumer, the Swiss knife, which comes with a lifetime warranty. So these kind of values which this brand inculcates in the product also comes down into the employees. Empathy, because we love our consumers. That's the reason why we're making products that last so long. So of course, that's how Victorinox makes it special for me to work with them. I.N.O.X is a beautiful story because I.N.O.X wanted to actually come close to the mother product, which is the Victorinox knives. Now, Victorinox knives with a legacy of 130 years and being a lifetime warranty and never requiring a repair, how can a watch come close to a knife, and that to a Swiss knife? But all efforts were put to create a watch which comes very close when Victorinox knives were celebrating 130 years. That's when I.N.O.X was born, a watch that can be as close to the mother product, which is the knives. So that is how I.N.O.X was born, with qualities which is like 200 meters of water resistant, scratch resistant, anti-magnetic, and then as Ratan said, can take a lot of pressure on it. So that was the reason why I.N.O.X was born in the first place. And then we were very scared to have an I.N.O.X with a chronograph, because we thought that probably with so much of features it will not be able to live up to the quality that the watch has. But when we crossed that barrier, we created the I.N.O.X chronograph, and then we created the I.N.O.X automatic as well. So we've kind of grown with time, creating I.N.O.X which has a different faces to it now.
So as you can see on the two limited edition watches of 250 pieces in my both hands, you can see this one, which is rose gold PVD case and bezel, and this one is rose gold case with black PVD bezel. Both are limited to 250 pieces only and priced at an attractive price point of less than 90,000 rupees. And I would now request all of you to touch and feel the product and appreciate it while we discuss. It's 43 millimeters in diameter. You can see both are fitted with black rubber straps, and it carries all the features, all the functionalities of a I.N.O.X, which it stands for in full glory. It is shock resistant, it is scratch resistant, it is water resistant to 200 meters, comes with a 5-year warranty, and most importantly, it is carrying a rose gold PVD, which Indians love.
I think it's a very striking finish. I really like the way it's been done. And honestly, I think it works for Indian skin tones. But yeah, this is a biggish watch. And I'm hoping maybe a smaller dial version will come soon for women. Victorinox watches, the legacy is so much the Swiss Army knife, right? So how it has been translated to the watch as well brings so much to the design and how it is distinct. So I remember reading that the hour and the minute hands are in the shape of the directions when you go on a Swiss hiking path. The way that is done is really nice. Like the fact the the counterweight is in the shape of a Swiss Army knife. Even the finish on the dial is again the Swiss hiking path. All of that is just adds very interesting details that you can always talk about. So much of watches have to do with the narrative and the stories attached with watches, right? These are great talking points.
So you like the look, right?
Absolutely.
You're striking, yeah. Ratan?
It's a perfect amalgamation of luxury, watchmaking, and ruggedness. I don't know if we all because I'm representing retail here, so I don't know if we'll all get enough of this for us to sell.
I'll take it as a good point.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Since it's a numbered and a limited edition watch, it's not something which will be very common and not everybody would be owning it. So let's say if I'm wearing this watch and walking into a space, I'm 100% sure there is maybe 0.1% chance that the same person has the same watch in the room.
Someone else has
Yeah,
the same.
so it's a unique piece which maybe only I'm wearing it at that particular occasion.
This collection is very rare to see, a day date on a chronograph, luminovus which has been given, I think very strikingly different way altogether, and the curvature on the bezel which has counters on it which is written on the hour marker, something which is never done before. What I feel is that even I was touching the crown and the stopwatch, the kind of smoothness which I am finding, this watch will create a buzz in the market in terms of their designing and the thought process that which is carrying for the end consumer.
And just to add that this has been really assembled with a lot of care at the Delamont's Watch Competence Center of Victorinox, as well as efficient as you were talking about. Your thoughts, Sam? Anything you like?
The only thing I would personally like is replace the rubber strap with a leather strap, because that is more to my taste. So that customization that they offer is something great.
So basically what's really attracting my eyes in this product is the color part of it and the strap and everything. It's so lightweight.
Your last thoughts, Devraj? Can you tell us what you want to share?
You know, we are a country of festivals. We love gold, we love our Indian attire, and we love to celebrate every day. And I think gold stands for celebration. And what can be better if we can add pink gold to our watches and make it a part of our lives. So we've done this before in a different collection and we've always seen success. So we wanted to do this in a more stunning way, a more bolder watch, which actually resonates more with the male of the Indian society, and add the pink color to it, because men in India also love to wear gold. So yeah, so that was the idea behind, and we've started this with a smaller collection. And I think if the colors suit and if people love it, we can also come up with some more colors maybe in future. So thank you so much for loving our watches.